Hi everyone, MarciaGrace here. Your, yep, I think I'm here. Yeah. uh, yes, I'm here. Your modern meditation mentor. And today I'm wearing pumpkin colors, green and orange, because the season, and that makes me happy. So that's why I do that, because I enjoy being happy, which is part of what we'll be talking about right today. So I want to tell an old Sufi story. A man enters a village and he goes to see the Sufi master. The visitor says to the Sufi master, I'm thinking about whether I should move here or not. And I'm wondering, can you tell me what the people are like here? So the Sufi master looks at him and he says, well, why don't tell me where you came from? What were the people like there? And the man says, "Oh, those people were robbers and cheats and liars and yuck, you know." And so the Sufi master thinks a moment and he says, "Well, unfortunately," he says, "that's kind of how the people are here too." And the man gives him a shocked look and goes away and never comes back. Well, then a few minutes or a few days or weeks or whoever, whenever, another person comes to the Sufi master and asks him, Sufi master, I want to ask you a question because I'm thinking of moving here, and can you tell me what the people are like?" And Sufi master asks him the same question he asked the other guy. He says, what kind of people were like where you're coming from? And he says, "Oh, they're lovely, sweet, wonderful, compassionate people, and if leaving them is going to be so difficult for me, I really am going to miss them." And the Sufi master says to him, he says, well, the people here are like that too. Huh. So this story kind of begs the question, how do you see your world? Right? Because the one person sees liars and thieves, and the second person sees compassionate and loving people. So, this is the kind of thing that we can ask ourselves. We need to be aware of what kind of mechanics are going on in our thinking when we go about our day, when we live in our world. So I'm going to bring up, because this is what everybody's talking about right now, and that's the conflict in between Israel and Palestine. And I confess, I'm very sad that after so many years, hundreds, thousands, whatever it is, that no peace can endure in this region of the world. And it makes me think back actually to what went on in Ireland as well, between the Catholics and the Protestants, and things like that. So this is not an unusual situation, and we certainly have seen it many times before. But what I want to, I told that story because what I really want to get to is that it's really all about perception. It's all about how we choose to look at our world, how we choose to live in our world. And we have a choice. And for me, the choice is one of two things. It's either I'm living with fear in my heart, in which case I will experience the need, an absolute need. When you're in fear, you have a need to defend yourself because you see trouble coming at you from all ends. This is what you see. And so when you live like that in a state of fear, and you see enemies all around you, that's the kind of life you're going to have, and it's going to be incredibly difficult for you and for everybody else around you. So, on the other hand, if you are coming from love, if you're feeling good about yourself, if you're happy within yourself, if you're living your life in a way that makes you feel good and useful and part of a larger experience that you are sharing happily with other people to the best of your ability, then you're going to see a very different world. You're going to see a world of cooperation, of compassion, of smiling faces, and happy occasions. And and I mean this very seriously. It really, really is so important. I mean, I can't stress this enough, that your inner life determines your outer life. And I know so many people are going to say that's crazy. There's wars going on, and the people are killing people, and all these terrible things are happening, and I can't stop that, and it has nothing to do with my attitude. Right? That's what many people. I've heard it. I've heard many people say that, and apparently that's their reality. That seems to be true. So I'm not going to question that. What I do want to question is what kind of life you want to live. Really the buck stops here. It stops here because I, as an individual, can do absolutely nothing about what's going on in Israel and Palestine. I can do nothing, right? I'm just one little person. I am sitting here in my living room, and there's nothing that I can do. So I have a choice. I can get myself all worked up about the situation and feel horrible and feel stressed and all that kind of stuff, or I can step back and do something I try to do as often throughout the day as I can, and that is to ask my inner guidance, what do you want me to do in this situation? I feel upset about this situation. What should I do? Or am I supposed to do anything? Again, I don't know. That's why I'm asking the question. I'm confused. I'm upset. I'm disappointed. I'm angry. Whatever it is I am. And so I'm asking this question because I need help. I know I can't do it on my own. I know I don't have the answer. So I need to ask that question. But if I go out in the world and ask that question, what's going to happen is I am going to find initially, and this is usually the ego speaks first. Our fear part, the fear part of us, is usually the one that's most often in control. And so I'm going to go out and I'm going to ask other people who are coming from their fear place, and they're going to say, oh my God, let's, I don't know, get guns, or let's do something terrible. Let's blow something up. I don't know, whatever it is. And that's what we're going to hear. Or we can hopefully sit back, as I said, for a moment and tune in to what I know it resides in every single one of us, what I call your higher wisdom. There are many names you can call it. You can call it intuition. You can call it, cosmic consciousness. Whatever you want to call it, it's not important. That's not important. What's important is the recognition that there is within you something that links you to everything else. So there's this innate intelligence that we all have that connects us to the truth in the moment for me, not for anybody else, but for me. And when I have that, when I know that, and I utilize it, I get answers. That's what happens. I get answers. And eventually, if you do this frequently enough and it becomes part of your life to do, it happens kind of unconsciously. It happens kind of automatically after a while. But in the midst of something where you're really struggling and you're really upset and you just lost your cool, if you can remember to tune in and just stop for a moment and say, wait a minute, I have that something inside of me that has the answer, and I just have to stop long enough to be still and listen. listen. And it's amazing what happens. I mean, it takes practice. I'm not going to say that necessarily that the first time you do it, it's going to work, because our resistance, and here's another thing that I have to really stress, our resistance to peace is huge. It's enormous. We in this world, we're just so indoctrinated into the idea of defense and attack that it is really it takes quite a bit of an effort of willingness to allow ourselves to perhaps see it a different way, to see life not from that perspective of defense and attack, but from what am I supposed, open-mindedness, just what am I supposed to do? How am I supposed to get through this situation? It's never a good idea to deny your feelings. Don't ever deny your feelings. You can feel angry, upset, whatever it is, but you don't want to hold on to them because they feel crappy. You don't want to hold on to them. So you want to find an answer. And as I said, don't go out there, because if you go out there, I have doubts about what the answer is you might get. You need to go within yourself and ask from a place of open-mindedness, of willingness to learn something new, maybe, to have a new perspective, to see a new picture of what life can be like. And it's amazing, because if you do this, as I said, if you do this often enough, regularly, you will find that you will start getting answers. You will start getting awarenesses, and it'll come in multiple ways. I mean, I can't tell you how it's going to come for you. You're not going to hear a loud, booming voice telling you go do this, or necessarily. I mean, people hear voices; they do, for some people. But it might be that the phone rings and it's a friend of yours, and the friend says blah blah blah, and that's the answer you needed. Right? So that's how it can be. It can come through somebody else. It can come taking a walk in the woods. It can come in so many different ways. You can have a dream and wake up in the morning and say, I got my answer. It's not the form that it comes in. It's the content that tells you, yes, this is your answer. And so when you get that, you can be at peace, right? Because now you've gotten your answer, and you can rest assured in that answer. And how do you know it's the right answer? How do you know? Again, this is something that happens over time. It's a gradual process of wait and see. You wait and see. You get the guidance and you see if it works. If it's the solution that you were hoping for. But I'd say also one of the ways is that you feel peaceful, and it creates peace in your environment. That's kind of the criteria for knowing that guidance is coming from a loving source rather than that fear source. Okay, so again, takes practice. It takes practice, just like anything else, because we spend our whole lives doing something a certain way, and if you want to change something, and that's why change is so hard for our ego. It's just so hard because we've been doing it so long, and we're so connected to that way of being, that to consider that there could be another way is not easy. It can be quite eye-opening and shocking. And I think one of the reasons why is because we hate being wrong. Yes? We hate being wrong. So if all of a sudden I get an answer that's counter to what I always used to do, or how I used to think, part of me is going to say, hey, what kind of a jerk have you been for the last 40 or 50 years that you've been doing it this way? And, you're not going to like that. So you're going to maybe, kind of push it away. So we don't like being wrong. And that's part of the difficulty of accepting a new idea, a new way of being into our life. We don't want to have to say, I was wrong. But once you can get past that, I love being wrong. I just love being wrong, because now I'm happier. So who cares if I was wrong if it gives me a happy result? Doesn't that make sense? Makes sense to me. So there's a lesson that I just read this morning in my Course in Miracles workbook, and it was I can elect to change all thoughts that hurt. Moi, can elect to change all thoughts that hurt. Okay? So it's me that makes that decision, not somebody else. Not it doesn't come from out of the cosmos. It comes from my decision to want peace, to want a change that's going to bring a joyful solution. Okay? So that, just knowing that, that's the power of our mind, to accept that is true, that you can elect, you can choose, you can decide to get rid of those thoughts that are causing you distress. Even over something like this, even over this conflict. I don't even want to use the W word, but this conflict. I have feelings about it. My ego gets wrapped up, but there's a part of me that says, since I can do nothing, I'm going to sit back and I'm just going to ask my guidance. What should am I supposed to do anything, or how should I look at this, and wait for an answer. And the answer that I got this morning was what I'm telling you right now. That's why I'm doing it, because it is so essential. My peace is very important to me. I hope your peace is important to you, because if it is, then you will take up my suggestion and do as I suggest. Because when we learn to trust our inner guidance, life just becomes a whole different way of being that brings joy and light and happiness, and makes you want to get up and put on pumpkin colors today, because you want to enjoy the season, you want to enjoy this moment, you want to go out and enjoy this beautiful day with this cool, fresh air. At least that's how it is here, and be in the moment. Be in the moment. What's available to me in this moment to do, to be, to have. And again, you're always checking in with that guidance. After a while, it becomes part of your internal conversation. That's what to me, it's a conversation that I'm having with my higher self all throughout the day. Not just when I'm really upset about something, but all through the day, because little things come up all through the day, don't they? All through the day, we have issues to face. We have situations that come up. Should I do this or should I do that? Whatever it is, and they require us to take action. So it's really, really helpful if you don't take action with your fear part of your mind, but with your loving part of your mind, which is going to come from that when you step back and let your inner wisdom speak to you. All right, that's what I have to say. And I'm going to wish you a happy Friday and a happy weekend ahead and week ahead. Enjoy the season. And remember, everything begins with a thought. So please notice your thoughts and let go of the ones that are causing you distress. Okay? Okay. Bye-bye for now.